Welcome back to my channel. I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Nikki, and I use my clairaudient and channeling abilities to help people find the magic within. If you're new here, welcome. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos every week. Today, I will be channeling messages from the 1996 movie The Craft. This film stars Rachel True, Neve Campbell, Fairuza Balk, and Robin Tunney. The story follows four young women who go to the same high school, and three of them are practicing witches already, and they're looking for their fourth, not knowing that Robin Tunney, who plays Sarah, starts going to the high school, and they realize that she has supernatural abilities as well and that she is their fourth. So these four witches come together, they learn about their own power, but some of them abuse that power, and what transitions is a really cool horror fantasy film. It's a total 90s film. I was all about it when I saw it. I have seen it many times since then. This is October, which is spooky season, so I thought it would be cool to channel some messages from this film. So in the next part of the video, you will see four different piles. Each of the piles will pertain to one of the witches. So one of the witches has a message for you from the film. So meditate on the pile that is speaking to you and go to the timestamps that I provide down below to go directly to your reading from there. If any part of a message does not resonate, just know that message is not for you. Don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. So let's dive into these channeled messages from the film The Craft. Very excited. Hey, pile number one, welcome to your reading. The witch that you chose is Bonnie from The Craft, who is played by Neve Campbell. So let's see what your cards have to say and see how that pertains to Bonnie's message for you. We have the Emperor in reverse. The qualities I dislike in others are disowned parts of my shadow. King of Pentacles. Complacency. Renewal. Forgiveness. Cernanos, life force, express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. And Aranede, mistress of the labyrinth, my soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. Okay, pile number one. So what I'm drawn to first and foremost here is the King of Pentacles. This is a very high vibrational person. And in the movie The Craft, what I'm being shown is how Bonnie's character actually has severe burn scars all over her back. There was an accident that took place when she was younger, and her skin became severely scarred and burned. And it made her very self-conscious. Through most of the film, she's actually wearing like a winter coat and clothes that just, cover up these parts of herself that she feels ashamed about. But when she comes into her power as being a witch, knowing that she can cast spells and manifest a version of herself that she feels happy with, she sets a spell into motion to have her scars removed. And I'm being shown the scene where after she does that and her scars are completely gone, she walks with so much confidence into one of her classrooms, and she feels amazing about herself. She feels high vibe. So Spirit is saying that there is something here in particular that is a part of yourself that is true to who you are, that it's important to embrace all of yourself. And seeing you have that confidence like Bonnie has when she walks into the classroom just feeling good. This is a confidence that Spirit is showing me that you specifically have. So I'm going to place my hand on this card and see what else Spirit wants to tell me. Thank you, Spirit. What are some other messages from the King of Pentacles here? This is a very high vibe feeling, raising one's vibration. Yeah, they're pointing out the scars. They're saying that your scars, whether these are ones that are physical or if they are emotional, are all part of your experience here, all part of your journey. And they're saying not to be so hard on yourself in terms of what emotional scars or physical scars you may have taken along with you on your journey. It's all part of your story. It's all part of a process that you came here to experience. So they're saying honor your scars. That's what I'm hearing very strongly. Like I'm being shown the scene where Neve Campbell, before the scars are removed, she's praying about in the film they worship someone named Menal, and she's saying, Menal, take my scars, Menal, take my scars. And I'm being shown that a lot of you have prayed, meditated for this healing, and it is happening because we have the King of Pentacles, being more confident with who you are despite these scars that you may have experienced, whether they are physical scars or whether they are emotional scars. You're raising your vibration, and in the process, it's healing the way that you see yourself. You're healing the way that you see yourself. There are some things here that I can see are causing some confusion right now, and we'll get to that soon. But first and foremost, they wanted to show me how your confidence is raising and how your vibration is raising in the process, because you're learning to love yourself more and more. And yeah, with this renewal card, just light shining from you. You are a light in this world, and it's just this self-love. I can see that you're learning how to balance your chakras, because if you look closely, you can see the chakra colors on the front of her dress there while she's meditating out in nature. It's just like all this light information, these light codes being given to you, as you learn to love yourself more and more and honor your scars from the past. With the qualities I dislike in others are disowned parts of my shadow. With this card, I'm being shown the scene towards the end of the film where at this point Bonnie kind of has taken on a little bit of narcissism. She's kind of full of herself because she was so used to invalidating herself before. Now it's like she feels on top of the world, but she's taken it to a dark place, and she hasn't really seen how the consequences of her actions have affected people. And one of the other witches, Sarah, who holds a lot more light in the film, she casts a spell to make Bonnie see the truth of her nature. So you see this, they're showing me the scene where Bonnie is standing in front of a mirror, and it's like she sees everything that she was fearful of, her scars coming back. And it's like the scars have taken over one half of her face, and you see her, she looks at herself and she's like, not again. So she was facing the mirror aspect shadow of herself that she was refusing to see. So that's what they're showing me with this card here. The qualities I dislike in others are disowned parts of my shadow. So when you see something in another person that you don't like, what they're doing is they're acting as that mirror, like it did in this film, where what you don't like is being reflected back to you. This is how you recognize shadow aspects of yourself. And the shadow aspect of ourself has been repressed for far too long, and it's time to bring those shadows to light, to integrate the darkness with the light so that there can be more balance. So if you are working on shadow work right now and you're still kind of wondering what aspects of your shadow need to be brought to the surface to heal, it is a very good indicator when you feel triggered by other people, or when you feel, for example, judgmental about something. So, like, for example, me, I was very judgmental of people who were demanding and would send me long lists of things to do in an email. But what I didn't realize is that I was actually doing that to other people. I was being demanding and I was sending long lists of emails for people to answer. It was a shadow aspect of myself that I was disowning. So other people will be very good indicators to you about what shadow work patterns you need to look at and shine light on and integrate it instead of just disowning it. The shadow is very tired of being disowned, and that's why we were seeing a lot of things and triggers happening at this time on the planet, because it's time to heal these things. But that is how you can figure out what patterns you need to work on with your shadow. Next we have Cernunos Life Force. Express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. So yes, there is, with the healing that you're doing and the willingness to look at your shadow aspects, this is very admirable because it's not easy to do, but very, very essential to one's growth. And with the King of Pentacles here, just this high vibration, you are raising your vibration. You're experiencing this sense of renewal because of the work that you're willing to do to improve and change yourself. Not in the sense of fixing oneself, but rather integrating and just learning how these patterns have affected your life up to this point and making a new decision to break out of certain patterns. With this card, I am being shown the scene where Bonnie and Sarah and Rochelle, they're going to Nancy's house because Nancy just came into a lot of money. And they all look really cool. They have these really fashionable outfits on, and they're walking up to Nancy's house, and this guy walks by, And Bonnie, because of this newfound confidence she has, she turns around and she tells the guy, she's like, nice ass. Like, she just has that confidence to let a guy know that she's into him in that moment. And it was like her coming into her sensual, sexual energy. Now, this is just the scene specifically that they are showing me. So I do feel like there is also a lot of healing being done in terms of your sexual energy right now, and just having the confidence to speak to those that you are attracted to. Maybe not in the way that Bonnie does in this film. Like, if that's your thing, of course, obviously, do what feels good to you. But what they're showing me is just having the confidence to speak to whoever you are attracted to, and just exuding that life force within you. Like, that's a confidence that's, it's arising within you right now, is what I'm being shown. And that's the scene they showed me specifically, like her confidence and just putting herself out there in that way, but not in a narcissistic way, which is kind of the route she takes in the film. But they were just showing me the confidence of her speaking to someone that she found attractive. So, what else I'm seeing here with the Emperor in reverse, this card is all about not really feeling in control. There's something here that feels kind of out of control. And I'm going to place my hand on the card here and see what they're showing me specifically from the craft. What message from the craft and Bonnie are you referring to here, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, they're showing me how Bonnie wasn't 100% in control of how she wanted her life to go, because her and her friend in the film, Rochelle, they go along with what Nancy, their friend in the group, always wants. Like, Nancy kind of controls the dynamic in this group for a long time, and Bonnie and Rochelle go along with her. So they're showing me that there's someone here, there's an energy, a very controlling energy in your situation right now, where it's like this person has to have it their way or the highway, and there's a need to speak up. There's a need to speak up here to whoever this person is and to take your power back. Because when the Emperor is in reverse, this is a lower vibrational energy. And they are guiding me to point this out here. The card is next to the qualities I dislike in others are disowned parts of my shadow. So if you feel like other people are controlling, Spirit is saying, where within you is there a certain area where you might be the same way? Or is there a certain area where you might like to have things your way or the highway? Is this a shadow aspect of yourself that you're refusing to look at? This is, I'll be honest with you, this is a shadow aspect that I have. And it stems from being codependent, and this is something that I am recovering from. Codependent people like to try to control everything because they don't like to feel out of control. And I have a tendency to get very triggered by people who try to force things on other people or try to control other people. But it's something that I'm realizing that I need to let go of that control. So if there are some control issues here, perhaps that's one of the shadow aspects to look at. Because in the film, Bonnie was very much controlled by Nancy. And when I was watching that film, I was like, man, why don't they stand up to her? You know, like, it's just a reflection of certain control issues and being willing to let go of control. So if there's any area in your life where that might be something to look at within and do some shadow work around that to let go. And then there's another dynamic here where there could be people who are like Nancy in your life, who have that very controlling mechanism within them. And it's important to let go of people pleasing, is what I'm being shown here. Spirit is saying, don't be nice. Because when we are too nice, then we give our power away. It's important to be kind, but not to be too nice. With the complacency card here, this is all about not taking action with something, just kind of staying in this stuck energy, not wanting to move forward. What are you bringing through with this card, Spirit? Thank you. What's going on with the complacency card? Yeah, just not standing up for oneself when, or needing to set a boundary with something in regards to this controlling energy. What else, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, they're saying don't let others speak for you. I feel like they're showing me a dynamic here where you're having a conversation and then someone like interrupts or cuts in and like finishes your sentence for you, like it almost like they know what you're going to say. But a lot of times I'm being shown is you actually had something else in mind, and Spirit is saying to you can break this pattern by saying what it is you want to say, not letting someone else speak for you, is what I'm being shown. They're saying don't be complacent in that area, because what you have to say is important, and other people speaking for you, while they might have it right some of the time, it's still important for you to get your point across and speak up as well. You can take your power back by speaking up for yourself. What else with the complacency card? Spirit, thank you. Yeah, Spirit is saying some of you are procrastinating on doing something that you know you need to do. And I'm hearing avoiding conflict, like you don't want to do it because you think it's going to cause some conflict. But Spirit is saying the consequences of that are less severe than what you think they would be. They're saying the consequences of procrastinating are actually worse than not doing what it is you need to do. Anything else with the complacency card, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, they're pointing out how the lady on the card here is crying, and it's like the seasons are changing all around her. And that's what they're meaning by the consequences of not taking action. So if there is a creative project or something you want to do that would bring you more joy, Spirit is saying staying in this energy is just going to continue to keep you stuck. So there are actually EFT techniques that you can do where you tap to break out of complacency or procrastination. It helps you own that shadow aspect of procrastination where you accept it about yourself, but you're like, but I want to change this. And then you reaffirm it with positive affirmations. It's very, very powerful. And there are many of those that you can do on YouTube. One man in particular named Brad Yates, he does a lot of EFT techniques. It will help you release the emotions that may be stuck, that are causing any complacency, that are preventing you from taking action. Very, very powerful. Next card here we have is forgiveness. And there is a little child on here. So there is definitely something from that took place when you were a child that either I'm seeing you need to forgive yourself for or forgive someone else for. And I just saw a very interesting meme on Facebook about how forgiveness is not a tool to heal trauma. And I completely agree with that. But I do know that forgiveness is very much needed to move forward in one's life. Because if we can't forgive, then we're holding on to all of those emotions that manifest pain physically in the body. And by forgiving, you're being willing to release that for yourself, not for someone else. And it's not condoning what someone else did. Forgiveness is always for you, okay? It's never for the other person, it's for you, always. And the scene that I'm being shown with the forgiveness card here from the craft is the very end, where Bonnie and Rochelle are feeling guilty about how they treated Sarah, so they come to Sarah to apologize to her. They ask her for her forgiveness. So I am seeing dynamic here where someone may be asking you for forgiveness, or just someone that you need to forgive on an energetic level, being willing to take the steps necessary to do that, whether you approach this person like they do in the film, or if that's not possible at all, just doing it on an energetic level is very powerful as well. So forgiveness will free you from some of those blockages that might be preventing you from moving forward. And the last card here, Arendine, Mistress of the Labyrinth, my soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. So what I'm being drawn to on this card is Mistress of the Labyrinth. So they're showing me that what you're going through right now, it feels like a maze, and it's almost like, I don't know which way to go. And Spirit wants you to know that your soul always knows the way to go. And what they're showing me is how Bonnie in this story, from the beginning of the film, where she was invalidating herself, beating herself up, and then when she steps into her power and she aligns with members of her soul tribe in this film, this is the example of how your soul knows the way. Your soul will lead you. So there's nothing to worry about if you feel like you are in this maze and you don't know where to go. Your soul is guiding you. Your higher self is guiding you. So call upon your higher self at this time. And what they're saying here, and the only way out is through, that means being willing to look at the difficult aspects of your shadow and facing them once and for all, integrating them, not judging yourself, and just seeing what patterns have continued in your life where you've made the same decision time and time again, getting the same result. And then once you have that awareness, making a new decision to break off into a new reality for yourself, one that is filled with more love, joy, peace, harmony. And I set the intention that that takes place for you, pile number one. So that is all that I am seeing. Those are your messages from Bonnie from the movie The Craft. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed the reading, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Hey, pile number two, welcome to your reading. The witch that has a message for you from the movie The Craft is Rochelle, played by Rachel True. I have your pile right here. Let's see what your cards say. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. The Prince of Wands in reverse. Peace is in my pulse. My presence is my power. Princess of Swords in reverse. Quest. Diana, focused intention. Think about what you desire. Set your sights high. Expect the best possible outcome. And Yashi Segoyal, Lady of the Lotus Born. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Okay, pile number 2. So, what I'm being shown first and foremost from the film The Craft with Rochelle. Rochelle is on her school's diving swim team, and they're showing this scene specifically when she goes to jump off the board and one of her fellow classmates yells shark, and they just like make fun of her and laugh at her. There's some bullying that goes on here, and she messes up her dive because of the bullying that took place. And afterwards in the locker room, she actually goes up to her bully and says, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you treating me this way?" Like, she tried to make peace with her bully, which she was actually taking the higher road. And that's why we have peace is in my pulse. Spirit is showing me that you like to make peace out of very difficult situations, even when people are not being the nicest to you. And that's what Rochelle did in this film. She tried to make peace with someone who not only was very racist towards her because she is African American and was just very bullying. She still took the higher road and approached her bully and tried to make peace with the bully. And Spirit is showing me that you have this very strong presence about you where you have the ability to bring peace to any situation because peace is in your pulse. It is part of who you are. It's a very powerful strength that you have, and you're able to help bring others to peace who have difficulty in that area. I'm hearing that this is part of your mission here to help bring that peace that you have within yourself so strongly, that's a part of who you are, to help bring peace to other people. It's a very cool mission to have. And the card next to it says, "My presence is my power." So I'm being shown in the film The Craft where Rochelle's still coming into who she really is, but she does come into her power when she realizes that she has powers as a witch, and she realizes that her presence is her power. But she does explore the dark side a little bit where she casts a spell on her bully later in the film, and there are some repercussions with that. But when she realizes that she has this power to do that, when she's jumping, I'm being shown the scene where she's jumping on the diving board, she does a perfect dive into the water. So that is the scene that I'm being shown. Her presence was her power, and your presence is your power as well. Like when you walk into a room, people feel it. It radiates from you, and you have this very peaceful energy as well. So you have this way of turning conflict into peace in ways that other people wouldn't even think of. And that's why we have the Five of Swords in reverse. So typically when this card is upright, it represents a lot of conflict and fighting. So I do feel like you have been put in situations where there has been a lot of conflict, but it has all been for a purpose, and it's because your energy has brought peace. Like I feel like you've been in these situations where things could have really gotten out of hand, and your presence of being there actually shifted the reality into a more peaceful place. So this is something I feel like you have been doing your whole life without realizing it, or if you have just come into the realization of this, it's strengthening even more now that you have the awareness about it. So very, very cool, pile number 2. With the Princess of Swords in reverse here, this does represent someone who is manipulative and says some very difficult, hurtful things. And I'm being shown Rochelle's bully in the film. So I feel like you may have been at the brunt end of bullying and have perhaps even experienced some of the things that Rochelle does in this film, and that you were able to, with your peaceful presence, override that. But because of that, there's also this energy of avoiding conflict altogether, and Spirit is saying sometimes it's not possible to do that. So there's someone here that needs to be stood up to. What's going on here, Spirit, with the Princess of Swords in reverse? Thank you. Yeah, some of you want revenge on this person just like Rochelle did in the film. Some of you want, I'm being shown, revenge on a bully. And what happens in the film The Craft is Rochelle casts a spell on her bully to make her hair fall out. And then she sees the consequences of that as it transpires in the film, and she starts to feel really bad about it. Spirit is saying you don't need to resort to violence. Yeah, you can't always avoid conflict, but you have such a powerful, peaceful presence that your energy affects the situation more powerfully than you know. It's just a matter of getting to that place of not people pleasing or avoiding conflict altogether, and realizing that you don't need to take revenge on someone. Because when people are bullying or being manipulative, saying hurtful things, they are actually just projecting how they feel about themselves onto the person they are bullying. So, any bully that you've ever had, anybody who has been hateful in their comments, they're projecting how they feel about themselves. And when we know this, we can learn to have more compassion and exude more love into the situation. And sometimes the most loving thing to do is to walk away. Sometimes the most loving thing to do is to say no. It just depends on what the actual situation is. But revenge and being vengeful, like Rochelle was in the film, that wasn't the right course of action here. I mean, she made a decision. She had to live with the consequences of that, but these are things that she had to learn on her journey, which is very interesting because the card right next to the Princess of Swords in reverse is the journey card, the quest card. So this is all a part of your journey. Your experiences that you've had will help other people. You will help raise other people's vibrations based off of things that you have went through, because other people who are going through similar things right now, a lot of people think they're going through it alone. They don't realize that other people have actually had the same situation that they've had to put up with people who have been hateful and just disingenuous. So I'm going to place my hand on the quest card here and see what else Spirit wants to say with this card. Thank you, Spirit. What else do you want to say with the quest card? Yeah, you are learning a lot about yourself. I'm hearing some of you are having a spiritual awakening right now. and this is a part of your journey. This is a soul contract that you've set in place to wake up at a specified period of time to start truly remembering who you really are, which is love and light. What else with this quest card? Yeah, they're pointing me out to the woman on the card and children. Perhaps you are meant to teach children about bullying or to share your stories about that so that we can teach children from a very young age not to bully and to have more compassion with one another. I feel like some of you are here to teach children a different way of being, here to teach children more peace. Some of you are teachers in that regards. You might do this out in nature. There are actual little bubbles behind her indicating nature. So you might teach children something outside. Perhaps you teach a sport of some sort. Maybe you teach them to be more peaceful and not fight during a particular sport that's being played. But you have a very powerful presence. Like, look at the presence of the woman on this card. She is just so peaceful. Like, it's very high vibrational energy, and you're very influential. And some of you just may be teachers in general. You could be teaching adults to be more peaceful as well, but very strongly picking up on teaching children to be more peaceful, but also to stand up for themselves too, is what I'm seeing, not in a vengeful way. The card right next to that is Diana, focused intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome. So they're showing me the scene in the craft where Rochelle is sitting around with her 3 friends, and for the vast majority of the film, when they are trying to create a spell, they all close their eyes and they focus their intention on it. Now, some of the things they focus their intention on in the film is dark, but when they focus on creating something that they want for themselves, it comes into fruition more powerfully, especially because they're with their soul tribe. So you may also be aligning with your soul tribe. But I'm being shown specifically the scene where they're at a slumber party. Rochelle is laying on the floor and they decide to play light as a feather, stiff as a board. And Sarah, one of the witches, she says, focus. So they all close their eyes and they focus their intention. They put their fingers underneath Rochelle and they lift her up off the ground because of their intention. So that's what Spirit is emphasizing. If you are working on manifesting something at this time, get very clear about what your intention is and focus on the best possible outcome. So if you're in a difficult situation where you're having to deal with this Princess of Swords in reverse here, you can set your intention on what you would like to transpire, knowing that you can't control other people or their energy, but you can influence it with your peace and your presence. So if you set your intention on that, you can create the highest possible outcome for yourself. It is possible to do that, and that is how powerful you are. The next card is Yeshi Sogyal, Lady of the Lotus Born. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. So, Spirit, what message are you bringing through for Rochelle from the movie The Craft? What message from her specifically with this card? Yeah, they're just pointing out like how her body was used for certain shots in this film where her body was used in the light as a feather, stiff as a board game, just like how it was like emphasizing the light body, her light body. And also when she does the jump off of the diving board, just how confident she was with how she was feeling about herself in that moment, like being the total embodiment of her presence. So with this card, my body was made for enlightenment. I feel like this is just a reiteration of your peaceful nature and how for much of your life you have been operating from your light body. Spirit is saying, don't let go of that. Stay in that nature, because that's part of who you really are. And when you embody that light body, it's the deepest bliss that you could ever hope to experience for yourself. So you have a very light body in general. So I am hearing that your soul does originate from some pretty high dimensions, because the fact that you've been able to hold peace in very difficult situations for most of your life, that is what has helped you get through these difficult things. Like, you have a very light body to begin with. And just like Rochelle, when they lifted her body, that's epitomizing the light body that you have. So very, very cool. The last card here is the Prince of Wands in reverse. So I'm going to place my hand on the card here and see what Spirit has to say with this final card. Thank you, Spirit. They're saying there's something here about stifled passion, because the Wand's energy is very passionate, but we do have it in reverse here. The card is in reverse. So there's something here that's stifling your passion. What's going on here, Spirit? Thank you. They're saying continue to know your value, continue to know your self-worth. Don't care what other people are projecting on you, because that's just them projecting their own fears and insecurities. What else, Spirit? Thank you. They're saying that something is stifling your passion due to not wanting to deal with a certain conflict, which we were picking up with strongly over here. And it is next to the Five of Swords in reverse. So what's going on here with the Prince of Wands in reverse with this stifled passion, Spirit, specifically? Thank you. Yeah, caring about what other people think about what it is you're here to do. They're saying don't care about that. Anything else, Spirit? Thank you. They're saying keep going, persevere, because keeping the momentum going will keep the energy going. If you stop, that will disrupt the universal balance of what it is you're trying to create. So there's something here about keeping your focused intention on what it is with the best possible outcome. Keep going. Know that you are a very powerful teacher with a light body like no other. Your presence is your power. Peace is in your pulse. It's always been a part of who you are. And yeah, I'm hearing bliss is about to be experienced for you on a level like no other, because of the awareness you are starting to have about your magnificent light body. So very, very cool. Pile number 2. Those are your channeled messages from Rochelle from the movie The Craft. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. The witch that you chose from The Craft is Nancy. I have your pile right here. Let's see what your messages are. We have the King of Pentacles. When I move my body, I bust through all that blocks me from my true health and vitality. I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. I share my light with the world. The Magician. Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. Instinct. Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. Okay, so what I'm being drawn to strongly, first of all, pile number 3, is we have 2 mother cards here. We have Mother Mary and Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. So what I'm being shown from the film The Craft with Nancy specifically, she, in the beginning of the film, has a very low vibe home life. She lives very poorly with her mom and her stepdad, and you can see how they fight with each other all the time. So there is this strained relationship that she not only has with her stepdad but also her mother. And they're showing me specifically after the stepfather dies in the film, they inherit a lot of money and they move to an uptown area. And Nancy invites her friends over and she takes her friends into her room, and her mom is coming down the hallway, but before her mom can get to the door, Nancy slams the door in her mom's face. So this gives you an indication that their relationship is pretty strained. She didn't respect her mother enough to not slam the door in her face. And I'm being shown that there have been some strained relationships here with your mother for some of you, and we have a double confirmation with the Mother Mary card and Mary of Nazareth, the Mother of God. So they're pointing out mother relationships. And on the bottom of this card it says mother healing is possible at this time. So perhaps some of you are doing some ancestral healing with the mother wound in your lineage. Perhaps you are learning to transcend that and let that go once and for all. And Spirit is saying that any hurt, trauma, or difficult things that may have transpired between you and your mother, it all stemmed from your mother projecting her hurt onto you. because she herself went through difficult things. Her mother went through difficult things. It's been this vicious cycle that has just perpetuated down your ancestral lineage. And Spirit is saying from this card, they're saying, let go of the need to be right and choose peace, because that is what will help you further along this healing and will also help you recognize more patterns that have aided in the mother wound that you can heal in yourself. And I too have a mother wound in my ancestral lineage that I have been working to heal as well. And it's not easy, especially when there have been some difficult things. I am hearing addiction for some of you, and that's also something that I have dealt with as well. I grew up around a lot of addiction, and I know it can be hard to forgive those who dabbled with that. So, Spirit is saying when you can change your perspective about the situation and the person, you can learn to look at them with more compassion. Now, if your mom has done something that seems unforgivable, it's 100% okay to, distance yourself, but just know that the healing that you're doing within yourself, and when you get to a place where you can forgive, you're not forgiving for her sake. You're forgiving because you don't deserve to hold on to that pain anymore. And that's what happens when we can't forgive. We don't allow ourselves to be at peace, and we manifest pain in the body, and it actually is more harmful to ourselves than it would be to just let go, forgive, and be happy with the person that you are here to be. And I do very strongly pick up that you have a very strong light, because I share my light with the world. So perhaps some of the situations that you experienced with your mother, you are here to shine light on that, to help other people who are having difficult experiences with their mother, so that we can heal this once and for all and just ascend and graduate to the next level. And then we can truly teach our children what a solid mother relationship is supposed to look like. Now, when we come to Earth, we do choose who our mother and father will be. So we come down here knowing full well the difficult things that we will go through. And it's important to understand that as well. And when you have that awareness, you can also get to a place where it is easier to forgive and stop, being that person who wants to slam the door instead of sharing your light and having that open heart while still guarding your heart for in the way that is specific for you. Next we have the Magician, and I'm being shown the scene where Nancy has realized her manifesting abilities, her witchcraft abilities, and they're showing me the scene where she is actually walking on the water. You are a very powerful manifester, and who's to say someday you might not be able to walk on water like Nancy does in this film, but they're just showing me the power of her abilities and how powerful you are as well. You have been manifesting very amazing things into your life your entire life. So, pretty much everything you have set an intention for, even when you weren't aware of your manifesting abilities, I'm being shown that you have a way of bringing things to you that you didn't realize that you had. Like the power of your mind, power of everybody's mind is truly admirable. And you very well could be here to teach people how to manifest as well, because you are conquering that. You have learned the law of attraction. I am being shown scripting as well. I do see that whatever you were writing out, if you're writing to manifest, it's very powerful to do that. And you are bringing into your life what it is that you want. Very, very powerful manifester. With when I move my body, I bust through all that blocks me from my true health and vitality. If you are working on manifesting health for yourself right now, they're showing me the scene in the craft where they are working on changing their appearance with their witchcraft, and Sarah actually changes her hair color to blonde in the film. I'm being shown that scene. And Nancy, she goes, do me next, it's something big. And Sarah's like, well, what do you want? And she goes, how about a smaller ass? And they all just start laughing, because this was a scene that epitomizes how you can use the law of attraction and manifesting to change certain things about your appearance if that is something that you want to do. But Spirit is saying that any blocks that you have in your system right now, getting your body moving will help bust through those blocks, and it will help aid towards your health and vitality. So if you're wanting to manifest a change in your appearance, getting your body moving will also help with that, with your health and vitality. And I learned from a mentor of mine that a person who walks for 10 minutes every day is taking great strides with their health than the person who does not do any physical activity at all. So even just 10 minutes a day is putting oneself into vibrant health that much more. So what can you do to get your body moving? Because that will also help bust through any blockages. It might also bring up any patterns from your ancestral lineage that you need to look at, specifically in terms of what's going on in your mother line, and help you learn how to share that light much more with the world as you are learning about these things. Next, we have I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. And what I'm being shown with this card, so Nancy takes her powers to a very dark place in this film. And I'm being shown the ending scene where she casts a spell on her friend Sarah because she wanted to leave the witches group, her friend group. She didn't want any part of it anymore. It got to be a little out of hand for her. And Nancy casts a spell on Sarah that put like snakes in her bathroom and all these like creepy crawly things. And she comes into the bathroom because Sarah's hiding in the tub. She's so scared. And Nancy is saying, you are so pathetic. You are so pathetic. Like she's looking at Sarah's fear from a very hateful perspective. And so Spirit is showing me that some of the things that you are afraid of, they're showing me there's some judgments here that need to be let go of in terms of how you are interpreting your fears. Like saying, why am I scared of this? I need to not be scared of this. Like just being hard on oneself because of your fears. And Spirit is saying that you can choose to reinterpret those fears with a more loving perspective, and then you will start to see the forward movement that you want when you look at your fears with love rather than looking at them as something to hate or disown about yourself. So look at your fears with love, and that's when you will see some forward movement take place. Not judging oneself for being fearful of certain things. We have the instinct card. So yeah, listen to your intuition. Your intuition is on point right now. What else do you want to say with the instinct card here? Any specific messages from Nancy? Yeah, they're showing me how Sarah started to have an intuition about Nancy as their witchcraft spells got stronger and stronger. And they're showing me the scene where Sarah is actually trying to do a spell on Nancy, where she took a photo of Nancy and she's like, I bind you, Nancy, from doing harm against other people and harm against yourself. Sarah was listening to her intuition about her friend because she had an instinct that Nancy was going to do something to harm someone or herself. So if you are feeling certain energy about a situation right now, Spirit is saying trust your instincts. Pay attention to the energy around certain people that make you feel a certain way. Pay attention to how you feel. Your intuition is not going to guide you wrong. Listen to your gut instinct at this time. And the final card is the King of Pentacles. And they are showing me the scene where Nancy manifests more abundance in her life. It was done from a place of darkness, I want to say, in the film, but that's not the message that Spirit is bringing through here right now. They're showing me the dynamic of how Nancy lived poorly before, and then when she stepped into her power, she learned about manifestation and the law of attraction. She manifested $175,000 for her and her mother, and they were able to move into a place that they really loved. It was absolutely beautiful, and they were able to do more of the things that they wanted to do. So if you are manifesting abundance right now, it is on the way, because you're a powerful manifester, and we have the King of Pentacles, which is very high vibe energy and just has the energy of money coming in. I feel like money is coming in right now. So very, very cool, pile number 3. Those are your channel messages from Nancy from the film The Craft. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Hey, pile number 4, welcome to your reading. You chose the witch Sarah from the movie The Craft, played by Robin Tunney. I have your pile right here. Let's see what your messages are. We have the Hierophant in reverse. The Five of Cups. When in doubt, I choose to see peace. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Self-worth. Saint Germain, karma releasing, move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. I have a still-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. Okay, pile number 4. So, the messages are coming in very strongly here. So, Sarah from the film The Craft, what I'm being shown is how she grapples with her self-worth all the time. And before she came to this new high school, she actually did try to take her own life in the film. Well, it doesn't show that in the film, but she talks about it with her 3 friends when she's getting to know them. So there's this energy of not valuing oneself or one's life in the film, not seeing her own worth. And that's what they're pointing out here with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the self-worth card. So there is a need here to value yourself and love yourself and know that you are here to do really amazing things. And sometimes there's people in our lives who like to put us down or make us feel like we are not good enough or we are not worthy. But the key of the matter is that every person on this planet is already worthy, whole, and complete as they are. It's just a matter of allowing oneself to see that. And this is something that Sarah grapples with for the entire film, the entire movie, The Craft. Because when she learns how deceptive her other three friends are, she kind of goes into this self-defeat mode. And I'm being shown the scene at the end of the film where she is lying on the floor crying because her three friends, or who she thought were her friends, they tricked her. They made her believe that her family had died in a plane crash. And she felt vulnerable and alone. She felt like no one was there for her, and she felt like life was meaningless. So she's like laying on the floor, she's crying. She's literally got tears coming down her cheeks, which is very reminiscent of this Five of Cups. Look at all the tears and look at her just sitting in the bathtub. There's actually a scene where she hides in the bathtub, where she's hiding from her friends and she's crying, she's terrified. Like, this card epitomizes Sarah in the movie The Craft in that scene. And I'm being shown specifically how she lays on the floor upstairs and she just has all of these doubts in her mind about how she thinks it's basically over for her. She basically was just going to lay there and let them kill her in the movie. And the card right next to the Five of Cups says, "When in doubt, I choose to see peace." And they're showing me a scene before this scene happened, how Sarah went to one of the white witches where they would buy spell books and candles and crystals and all that fun stuff. She goes to the white witch and she's like, I don't have anywhere to go. I need help. And the white witch says, "Well, you have to invoke the spirit." And she goes, "Well, Nancy did that and it made her crazy." And the white witch says, "Well, she takes it to a dark place. You have to surrender to a higher power." And that's what the Hierophant in reverse here is. There's something here in your life that you need to surrender to a higher power, having more faith in yourself, knowing and believing in yourself that you are capable of great things in this world. And what happens in the film, she is laying on the floor. She's completely defeated, or feels like she's defeated. She's doubting what's going to happen. And this card says, "When in doubt, I choose to see peace." So she's laying on the floor and she thinks about peace. And she sees a photo of her mother. Her mother actually epitomized peace to her. So she decides to surrender to a higher power and she invokes the spirit, but she does it for the highest good of all. She does it for having faith in herself, believing in herself, and using her powers for good, whereas Nancy was using them for bad. So Spirit is saying, when you are in doubt, just like Sarah was in this very uncomfortable, distressing situation, you can choose to see peace, and that is what will get you through. Choosing to see the peace when you are in doubt is how you can shift your perspective out of this type of Five of Cups energy. There's this very strong energy of depression that I am picking up on. And I want to place my hand on the Five of Cups card here and see what is going on. Thank you, Spirit. What other messages do you have with the Five of Cups? Yeah, they're saying that there are opportunities that you're not seeing. So see how there are 2 cups behind her on the card and the 3 in front of her are spilled? She's looking at everything that's going wrong. Spirit is saying to shift your perspective to things that are going right. Look for the good in the situation. And that's how you will shift your perspective to one of peace. So this doubt that you are feeling. And maybe it would help to look at some photos of people that you love, because that's what I'm being shown, is how Sarah, when she saw a photo of her mom who actually had passed on, just seeing that and having those memories, those loving memories that she had with her mom, that is what brought her to peace and reminded her of the love in her life that was still exuding from within herself. So if you have someone who has passed on that you love, looking at their photos would help bring more peace to you as well. And I am being shown that when you do this, it will actually activate the energy around you. And I'm being shown for some of you, your deceased loved one will be there looking at them with you. So that's a very powerful message that some of you need to hear right now. With Saint Germain karma releasing, move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. So yeah, there is some toxic energy that needs to be left behind, and that's what Sarah had to do. Her friends got very dramatic and very narcissistic and got caught up in their power, and it wasn't something that she wanted to continue to engage in. Like, I'm being shown multiple scenes in the film where she just decides to let go of what no longer serves her and to move away from the drama. Like, there's a scene I'm being shown where Nancy is driving a car and Sarah is trying to reason with Nancy, and she's saying, "So yeah, I think that we should cool it on this. It's getting a little out of hand." And Nancy's like, "What? Are you scared?" She goes, "Look, isn't that light supposed to be red, and doesn't red mean stop?" And she just like pushes her limits and like drives through a green light and they almost get hit by a car. So Sarah was wanting to move away from this drama. So if you are surrounded with toxic energy, Spirit is saying remove yourself from the drama and to just allow that karma to release. Because when you let go of what no longer serves you, whether that's in the form of people who aren't respecting you or your boundaries, then you're making room for new energy to come in. And when you let go of what no longer serves you, when you let go of people who don't see your value, who don't see your self-worth the way that you're supposed to see your self-worth, and you let go of them, that is you seeing your self-worth, because you're not putting up with that bullshit anymore. You're walking away from people who have repeatedly wanted to walk all over you, who call you, negative names, and just don't value you as a person. Let go of what no longer serves you. Pay attention to how people are making you feel. And if the feeling is bad, move away from them if that feels right to you. Typically, when somebody's making us feel bad, it's a good idea to move away so that you can bring loving people into your life because you're loving yourself. And the last card here, Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. I have a still like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. So you have a lot of divine protection around you, and you are a warrior of light. And they're showing me Sarah at the end of the film where Rochelle and Bonnie come to apologize to her. And they ask her, well, first off, they apologize to her for, trying to kill her and trying to just be terrible to her. And they ask Sarah, hey, do you still have your powers? And Sarah just kind of looks at them like not answering them. And Rochelle's like, well, we don't have our powers. We were just wondering if you wanted to get together and maybe call the corners. And Sarah's like, yeah, hold your breath until I call. And then she turns around and Rochelle and Bonnie kind of make fun of her and say she probably doesn't have her powers anyway. And Sarah hears her and she turns around and she looks up and she causes a tree branch to break and like fall down in front of them. And she was in her power. She took her power back at the end of this film, knowing that she was divinely guided and protected. And she was no longer going to put up with the bullshit of these two women who wanted to take their magic to a dark place. And also the scene where Sarah was at the White Witch's store, the White Witch told her she had a lot of light in her. You have a lot of light in you. That is what Spirit is emphasizing here. The light that Sarah has in this film, you have. You are a warrior of light, and you are here to shine that light. So step into your power fully and completely. Love yourself, honor yourself. Walk away from people who don't value. It is not worth it. Value yourself to walk away from things that no longer serve you so that you can bring that good energy in. Move beyond the drama is the main message here, pile number 4. And yeah, you're definitely a warrior. And when you truly recognize your self-worth 100%, watch out, world, because nobody will be able to treat you negatively in that way without you recognizing it and speaking up for yourself and just exuding that confidence in a very powerful way. So, very cool, pile number 4. Those are your messages from Sarah from the movie The Craft. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you on the next one.